All you historians out there, and welcome to your fourth lesson of the Causes tab of the Industrial Revolution website. Today we are going to do the Industrial Revolution game. For this lesson, you will need to draw on an A3 piece of paper using a lead pencil. Make sure you have a rubber as well. I'll show you a few examples of the finished product of the game from past students I've had in previous years. You can see they've written down the dates of all the events in the top right hand corner. I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. But pretty much what you're going to do this lesson is you are going to create an evolving town, an evolving city over the Industrial Revolution as the years go by. So you're going to have a certain amount of time to complete each round. There are 20 rounds in total. I advise you to start off really small because you're going to need a lot of space by the time you finish the 20 rounds. And it'll make sense once we start going. So, round one, this is what it looks like. So we've got the year up here, and then these are all the things you need to draw. And then this is the time you have to draw them in. So you've got 3 minutes to draw a river going across your paper from east to west, a wooden bridge, 10 houses, 1 church, 1 cemetery, 1 store, 1 pub, and 1 coal mine. And that's the year 1700. So that's where our town begins before it becomes a fully fledged city. Now we've got round 2, 1745. So we've got canals equals more money in trade. You have 2 minutes to draw a canal and 1 nicer, larger house for the investor of the canal. And this is because businessmen started investing in the construction of canals. This is because no part of England is more than 144 kilometres away from the sea and has plenty of rivers. Round 3, we are now in 1750. Sanitation equals population increase. You have 2 minutes to draw 5 houses. So soap, sanitation and diet have led to a rise in population. The bubonic plague has been eliminated. Round 4, 1760, we've got farming. So you want 1 nicer, larger house because new farming inventions such as the seed drill and practices such as crop rotation generate more income for farmers. People can now buy land from the government. You've got 2 minutes to draw that house. Round 5, we're in 1773. We have the textile industry. You have 3 minutes to draw 1 factory near the riverbank. You can't draw it near canal water because canal water is not fast enough to spin the water frame, and this factory has no smoke. Now, Richard Arkwright in this year invents the water frame, a device that can spin threads 100 times faster than previous method, and is powered by a water wheel. So that's why you need to build it near a river. So you've got 3 minutes to draw that factory. Round 6, you have 3 minutes to draw 5 houses, 1 church, 1 pub, and 1 store, because people start to move to the cities for work. So with less people needed to work on farms, people start moving to villages and cities for work. The textile factories have high demand for workers. So you can see how this drawing task is showing you how towns and cities evolved during the Industrial Revolution. Round 7. Now we're in 1774 to 1780, so we've got a boom in the textile industry. You have 3 minutes to draw 5 new factories near the riverbank, same as before, not near the canal and with no smoke. So the textile industry booms. More people are employed in textile factories. Round 8, now we're in 1780. Too many people and not enough jobs. You have 3 minutes to draw 5 tenement buildings, so really close together apartment buildings with no bathrooms or any running water. You've got to build 1 church, 1 store, 1 pub, and 1 school. Now, this is because people continue to move to the city, but the textile factories are full. Unemployed people surround the area. Wages are low and housing is in high demand. Tenements are constructed, a bit like units, but with shared areas. People work 6 days a week and go to church on Sunday. More facilities are needed to support the population. Round 9 is work hard, drink hard. Now we're in 1782. Draw 3 new pubs. You've got a minute to do that. So the average workday starts at 6 a.m. and finishes at 9 p.m. Factory workers consume alcohol in record amounts because they work so hard. Round 10, after this we're halfway there. Now we're in 1785. We've got the steam engine. You have 3 minutes to draw 10 new factories with smoke. You also need to add smoke to your existing factories because they're not powered by a water frame anymore. And then you want 1 nicer, larger house because the factory owners continue to get rich. So James Watt invents the steam engine. This means factories don't need the water frame to supply their power. And so that means factories can now be built away from water sources. Capitalists quickly replace their water frames with steam engines. So rich factory owners, the rich capitalists, change that technology. in their factories. Round 11, 1800, we've got the puddling process. So you have 2 minutes to draw one coal mine and rub out your wooden bridge and replace it with an iron bridge. So Henry Court invents the puddling process, making it possible for coal to be used as the primary fuel source in the iron industry. Round 12, now we've got child labour begins in 1815. Draw one cemetery. We've got 2 minutes to do that. The demand for people to work in coal mines is high, so high that iron can be produced, steam engines can run, and so homes can be heated. By this time, coal miners are children aged between 8 to 14. Their working days are 14 hours long. They suffer from black lung and their growth is stunted from working in the mines. Working in a mine becomes dangerous and casualty rates go up due to accidents and explosions. So that's why you need to draw one cemetery. Next up, 1820, the railroad. So draw a network of railway tracks that connects to all of your factories and your coal mine. You've got 3 minutes to do that. That's a bit of a complex one. And this is because canals cannot cope with the heavy loads of transporting coal. Transport using steam engines are tested and steam locomotives are invented. Now, 1827, round 14, you need to draw, there's too many workers, so you need to draw one jail and 3 pubs, and you have 2 minutes to do that. So the railroads allow people to move faster, bringing in more workers. Soon, there are too many workers and factory owners employ women and children because they can pay them much less than men. Angry men turn to crime and the pub. For the first time in England's history, the structure of a family is interrupted and families rarely eat together. Child labour is at an all-time high. Round 15, now we're on 1835. So now we've got combining technology. So you have 2 minutes to draw 20 street lamps around your city. So machines were introduced into factories that used a combination of steam engines, iron and steel. Gas released by coal was also harnessed and powered the first street lights. London was the first place to pipe in gas for street lights, so have pipes underground to power these street lamps. In 1838, we have working conditions. Round 16, you have 2 minutes to draw 2 hospitals and 1 cemetery. So it looks like these are pretty poor working conditions. So this is because factory owners caught factory fever. Factory workers caught factory fever, also known as white lung disease. It was likely cancer or tuberculosis. Factories became extremely dangerous. Children stumbled into machinery and lost limbs because of the lack of sleep and being overworked. Women's hair got caught in machinery as well. The worst thing was, if you couldn't work, you were fired. So if you lost your hand or your finger or anything, you'd be fired because you couldn't work as well. Put it this way. So I've just pretty much explained that. If you lost your hand, your boss would fire you because you couldn't do your work anymore, and then you'd be left without an income. So round 17, we're now in 1840. We've got the Irish potato famine equals more railways in England because they were forced to move because they couldn't eat, and then that means people charge them less, and Irish people commonly worked on the railway. So you have 2 minutes to draw one railway line. So the Irish potato famine forced many Irish people to move to England. English capitalists didn't mind this because they could force them, or rich capitalists I should say, could force them to work for extremely low wages, and there was a big demand for the faster movement of goods around the country. As a result, many Irishmen found themselves building railway tracks for very low wages as well. 1842, so land ownership equals a social divide. So you need to draw 2 minutes. This is a lot. 20 houses, 5 restaurants, 2 stores, 1 church, 5 factories, 1 pub, and 1 nicer house. That's going to be a very quick job for you. And this is because over time, several million acres of English land has been sold to wealthy farmers and capitalists. This created a massive social divide, with the working class working 10 hours a day for little wages, owning no land, while rich capitalists owned all the land. The aristocrat class was extremely prominent, and we can see all our different social classes in this diagram here, starting at the bottom and then going up to the top. Round 19, we are in 1845. The middle class begin to have more money. So finally, it takes a fair while, but finally, the middle class start to have more money because of generational wealth as well. So we have 2 minutes to draw 2 theatres, 1 restaurant, 1 museum, and 2 private schools. So a middle class of English society begins to emerge. More museums, plays, operas, restaurants, theatres, and concerts are being constructed, or concert halls are being constructed, because the middle class can now begin to afford them. Previously, only aristocrats could afford such luxuries. Round 20, our last round, 1850, the chokehold of the Industrial Revolution. You have 3 minutes to draw 1 cemetery, 1 jail, 1 hospital, 1 polluted river, and then create more smoke around your factory. So, The air is dark with smoke and pollution is out of control due to unprecedented use of coal. Everything is covered in layers of soot and coal. The river that flowed through the village of hundreds of years is now not safe to drink from. Tumours grow in people's bodies because of the chemicals in factories that they're exposed to. The term cancer is first used in medical terms. The average life expectancy for a poor person is 30. Cities and towns are overcrowded. The loss of family unity that existed for hundreds of years has been destroyed. Within the next decade, suicide rates will double, and then in the same decade, they'll triple. So you need to answer this question as well in your own mind. Considering all this, was the Industrial Revolution worth it? The technologies and the lifestyle and the luxuries that we enjoy today were built on the backs of these types of people who worked ridiculous hours for low wages and lived incredibly hard lives. So you need to answer this question for yourself, which is the most important thing about history in my opinion. Was it worth it? So thanks guys. That's it for the causes tab. I'll see you guys next time for the effects of the changing technology lesson.